a story the military has dismissed. But Nigerians have been reacting, supporting the development, but that does not seem to be the position of everyone. While the debate continues, so also the war which security experts say need more boots on the ground. Nigerians call for more actions, so the current situation becomes a thing of the past.
Come if you are not gainfully employed, join the police department, join the military if you are not employed and you are young.
No, it's a good one. It's a good one because if you are having a deficit in terms of the number of security agents that are helping with this project, we can act for recruitment.
Responsibility of the youth, responsible youth, to key into such opportunity. So to me, is very, very essential for the youth.
When the elders in the military are there, every blessed day, the age will be telling on them. But when we have youth in the military, it's good and it's okay by me.
So I want to know why they want to send the youth there, because most of these problems, they are the one causing it. I don't see any reason why they are telling the youth to go and join military so that they can fight issues that they themselves caused.
Those in the Senate that are in the Senate, they should pick their sons too, or their daughter, to be part of the military. That's how they should do it. That's how a leader shows integrity.
Oyinkansola Alarakpe, African News 24 TV.
President Bola Tinubu today met with Abia State Governor Alex Otti at the presidential villa in Abuja in what is believed to be part of ongoing efforts to secure the release of detained IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu. The meeting follows Otti's recent visit to Kanu at the Sokoto prison facility, where the governor was accompanied by Kanu's younger brother, the Abia State Attorney General, and other officials, alongside representatives of the Sokoto state government. Governor Otti has maintained that resolving Kanu's case remains a priority for his administration and has continued to pursue political and legal strategies aimed at securing his release. Tuesday's engagement with President Tinubu is seen as another step in the governor's push for a resolution to the long-running issue. In other news, Vice President Kashim Shettima has promised the commitment of the current administration to respect and protect the right to freedom of expression. The Vice President also stressed on the readiness of the federal government to protect press freedom, which he maintains is a non-negotiable pillar of the country's democracy. Shettima was speaking today in Abuja at the 2025 Annual Conference and General Meeting of the International Press Institute, Nigeria. He maintains that no administration can successfully repress the press in Nigeria. The Vice President noted that journalists must operate without harassment or intimidation, adding that the government bears the duty to create an environment where truth thrives and where media work is protected and not policed. From Abuja to Osun State, Southwest Nigeria, where Adebayo Adedamola has been elected as the flag bearer of the People's Democratic Party in the upcoming governorship election. Adedamola was elected in Osogbo, the state capital, amidst tight security. The National Secretariat of the People's Democratic Party on Tuesday proceeded with its governorship primary election, despite objections from the state chapter over the feasibility of holding the primary because of internal leadership disputes and a formal resignation from the party by Governor Ademola-Adeleke. The flag bearer polled a total of 919 out of the 957 accredited voters. The exercise was supervised by the National Organizing Committee, chaired by Humphrey Abba, with the Independent National Electoral Commission, represented by Osun Resident Electoral Commissioner Mutiu Agboke, serving as observers. The result brings to an end the uncertainty surrounding the primary, setting the stage for the main contest in 2026. Staying in Osun, there are clear pointers that the governor of Osun State, Ademola-Adeleke, will soon be pitching his tent with another political party ahead of the governorship election in the state next year. This follows the governor's resignation from the People's Democratic Party early in the week. According to the state's Commissioner of Information and Public Enlightenment, Kolapo Alimi, Adeleke will announce which party he joins before December 13. Governor Adeleke officially resigned his membership of the People's Democratic Party, citing the ongoing crisis within the party's national leadership. Adeleke had announced his departure from PDP since November 4, 2025, addressed to the PDP chairman of Sagba Abogunde Ward 2 in Ede, Osun State. The governor shared the letter, which was acknowledged and received by the ward chairman, Saka Kamoluddin Alamu, on his social media accounts on Monday night. In the letter, Governor Adeleke stated that the turbulence at the national level of the party had compelled him to end his association with the PDP with immediate effect. ESW 70. Attendees urged that the justice system must reflect women's realities and ensure their voices shape every level of decision making. This is part of the takeaway from the National Consultative Forum by the NFA Foundation. We have more in our next report.
Brings together women and women advocates from across the country to converse and reimagine a justice system that truly includes women and girls across legislation, policing, and the courts. The forum, at the instance of NAF Foundation, focuses on strengthening women's access to justice at every stage. Some experts sees the forum to warn that a system becomes illegitimate when it is distant, unsafe, or unaffordable, especially for survivors of gender-based violence.
What we are doing here in Abuja, Nigeria today is basically gathering insights, feedback, and demand from women, young women, and the older generation in the justice sector and outside the justice sector, curating those demands as a country and saying this is what we believe access to justice would mean for our generation and for our nation in the next sustainable future.
For women, access to justice means safety at home, safety in the workplace, and if there is a challenge, they know there is a path that they can go to where they will seek recourse, that it will be swift, it will be fair, and it will also be responsive.
As part of the event, discussions focus on some of the challenges women face from first contacts with the police to courtrooms and correctional centers. Participants make case for justice systems with women in leadership, which they are certain is often more practical, compassionate, and reflective of real experiences.
It's easy for us to imagine that in some of our urban locations, in our cities, the police, for instance, understand gender-responsive ways to address issues of sexual and gender-based violence. But then we need to look at what the data says about places in rural communities, some places where they have not particularly engaged with the act.
The challenges for access to justice, number one, is access to even representation. So where do I go to lay my concerns? Number two is the delay in the regimented system, because you could be in court dealing with an issue of custody, inheritance for a number of years, which shouldn't be the case.
Political justice for women will be more representation, passing that bill, making sure that women are not just present on the streets, but present within the lawmaking systems of our society.
While some urban areas show progress in gender-responsive policing, rural communities still struggle with poor awareness of sexual and gender-based violence laws. Key obstacles identified include lack of legal representation and lengthy court delays, leaving many women stuck in cases such as inheritance and custody disputes.
Into some environment-friendly stories, experts in the energy and agricultural sectors are advocating the use of briquettes technology as a sustainable alternative for power generation, especially as Nigeria continues to seek affordable and cleaner energy options. We have more in this report.
This forum brings together energy innovators, agri-entrepreneurs, and environmental advocates who highlighted how agricultural and domestic waste can be converted into briquettes, an efficient biomass energy source capable of reducing reliance on traditional fossil fuels. The expert underscored how briquette technology does not only lower carbon emissions, but also offer rural communities a cheaper and more reliable power source.
leave that one and come into agriculture, like I said earlier. If our government can put our efforts together, collaborate with the Ministry of Environment, biotechnology, we can turn all those waste to wealth. This day we are talking about unemployment in Nigeria, and then because an idle man or an idle hand is a devil's workshop. Now, when our youth are fully engaged with employment, it will reduce crime rates in our society. Imagine within the next 5 years, from agricultural point of view, we can be saving $9 to $10 billion every year. Now, translate that into Naira. Translate that into what the impact is going to have in our economy.
Additionally, the technology is projected to power employment. The stakeholders believe wider adoption of briquette production will support Nigeria's energy transition while tackling waste management challenges across the country.
When we return, we'll tell you how the Naira is performing against the dollar. That will be on business. Please join us again. Welcome back. And to some business stories. The Naira has opened the week with a slight depreciation, trading at 1,448 Naira 43 kobo against the United States dollar at the official foreign exchange market on Monday. Data from the Central Bank of Nigeria showed the Naira lost 1 Naira 69 kobo, representing a 0.1% decline from Friday, November 28th, when it traded at 1,466 Naira 74 kobo. Analysts attributed the minor loss to normal market adjustments, noting that the Naira's performance remains relatively stable compared with previous months of volatility. The relative stability of the local currency has drawn commendation from investors, who say reforms in the foreign exchange market have improved confidence and predictability. Meanwhile, oil prices climbed today as traders weighed up risks from Ukrainian drone strikes on Russian energy sites. Brent crude futures rose 7 cents or 0.1% to $63.24 a barrel by 0657 GMT, while U.S. West Texas intermediate crude gained 13 cents or 0.2% to stand at $59.45 a barrel. On Monday, the Caspian Pipeline Consortium said it had resumed oil shipments from one mooring point at its Black Sea terminal following a major Ukrainian drone attack on November 29. Russia's Kommersant newspaper, citing unnamed sources, on Monday said the oil loadings had resumed via the single point mooring 1, SPM-1, while SPM-2 was damaged. On the foreign scene, a high-level delegation from the Economic Community of West African States, led by Sierra Leone President Julius Maada Bio, visited Guinea-Bissau on Monday to urge the military junta to restore constitutional order. The talks come after the November 26, 2025 military coup, which ousted President Umaru Sissoco Embalo and suspended the electoral process. The ECOWAS delegation, including the UN Special Representative for West Africa and the Sahel, met with Guinea-Bissau's military leadership headed by Major General Hota Inta and the country's electoral commission. The discussions aimed to pressure the junta to commit to a swift return to democratic governance. ECOWAS has suspended Guinea-Bissau from all decision-making bodies until constitutional order is restored, condemning the coup as unacceptable violation of democratic principles. The regional bloc, along with the United Nations, demand the immediate release of detained officials, including President Embalo, and the announcement of the November 23 election results. The talks were described as constructive and fruitful, with both sides expressing their concerns. However, the outcome remains uncertain as the junta has appointed a one-year transition government. Meanwhile, Nigeria has offered Guinea-Bissau's opposition presidential candidate Fernando Diaz protection at his embassy in the capital Bissau following a military coup. This is contained in a statement by the Nigerian Foreign Ministry, which stated that President Bola Tinubu had approved the request for protection of Diaz in response to imminent threats to his life. It also asked the Economic Community of West African States Stabilization Force to deploy its troops in the country to keep Diaz safe. It is 3 weeks to Africa Cup of Nations, and ahead of December 21 AFCON 2025 in Morocco, Super Eagles coach Eric Chell is expected to announce a 28-player squad this week. The 48-year-old tactician is expected to unveil his AFCON list this week without any further delay. The Franco-Malian coach has been working to assemble his best squad following Nigeria's disappointing performance in the CAF playoffs. The 48-year-old has been consulting with senior players and reportedly briefed the Nigeria Football Federation Technical Committee on his plans yesterday. An official has described Chell as sound, very knowledgeable, with a clear vision for the team. Meanwhile, our correspondent gathered last night that the 48-year-old tactician will unveil his AFCON list this week without any further delay, with clock ticking for the kickoff of the AFCON on December 21. In other stories, the United States, which is co-hosting the 2026 FIFA World Cup with Canada and Mexico, is already buzzing ahead of the global events. On Monday, the White House officially confirmed that President Donald Trump will attend the draw ceremonies scheduled to hold at the Kennedy Center. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told reporters that the president considers the World Cup a major highlight of his second term in office, as well as part of the country's 250th independence anniversary celebrations coming up next year. However, the build-up to the tournament has not been free from political tension. President Trump's strong position on several domestic issues continues to spark debate across the country. The president has repeatedly hinted at the possibility of relocating World Cup matches away from some U.S. host cities. He argues that certain Democratic-run areas are dealing with rising crime and what he describes as illegal migration, conditions he believes could affect the hosting capacity of those cities. Despite the controversies, preparations for the 2026 World Cup remain on the way, with Friday's draw expected to set the tone for what is already projected to be one of the largest sporting events in history. Organizers say all eyes will be on Washington as football nations await the official matchups, and as President Trump takes center stage at a ceremony blending sports, politics, and global attention. Welcome to entertainment. DAVIDO has lit up the GRAMMYS Museum in Los Angeles with a thrilling live performance that left audiences asking for more. The Nigerian music superstar delivered a powerful set packed with some of his biggest hit songs, electrifying fans and music lovers in attendance. A standout moment of the night came when DAVIDO performed his Grammy-nominated track, With You, featuring Omale, drawing loud applause and excitement from the crowd. The showcase further underscored DAVIDO's growing global influence and spotlighted the unstoppable rise of Afrobeats on the international music scene as gets celebrated an unforgettable night at the iconic music venue. And lastly, on entertainment, Chairman of the United Bank for Africa, Tony Elumelu, has cancelled his annual all-white party in honor of the 6 staff members who died in the September fire at Afriland Towers in Lagos. The fire, which broke out in the high-rise building on Broad Street, claimed the lives of workers and left the business community shaken. In a message shared via his Instagram story on today, Elumelu said he and his wife Awele made the difficult decision to suspend this year's edition of the much anticipated December 23 celebration. He explained that the moment calls for reflection and compassion, adding that the period will be dedicated to remembering those who died in the tragedy. And that will be it on this bulletin. Thank you for staying tuned. Please remember to connect with us on all our social media platforms shown on your screen and visit our website at africannews24.ng for the latest updates to stay informed and ahead. I'm Mary Adam. Goodbye for now.